Good evening. I almost said never mornings. Hey folks, Nick Tucker here with the Historical Fencing Guild. It's nearly Halloween. We've got some good stuff to talk about, but before we do, let's pay some bills. First and foremost, the Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by the Historical Fencing Guild Patreon, where an elite group of brilliant individuals are kind enough to give me money and input to help me keep this series going. It's also made possible by the sales of my books, The Simple Sword, The Fighting Axe, and The Simple Spear. Yes, I have a copy of it to flop around. Isn't that pretty? As well as all my other books. We also are able to stream thanks to a lovely donation by the wonderful Joe Bachman Technologies. And you can hit their stuff at bit.ly/jbtechapps. Whoop. Visit them. Buy the apps. He has construction apps. He also is the creator of the Big Stompy Robots quick play version of the app with the dice rollers and all sorts of things. He's got some RPG dice rollers, and that gets you right started for the Big Stompy Robots core rulebook. More Big Stompy goodness, along with another novella is in the works. Good things are coming. Now, beyond that, friends, it's getting spooky out here. Lydia and I went for a walk. Life is good. We've got some people coming in the chat, and we've got a good bit of conversation to get the hour going and hopping. And every alarm known to man is popping up on my phone, even though I've turned them off. Oh, 3. What was that? Boop. 4. 2. Oh, okay. Dusty's being cuddly with Mandy. That's okay. So, before we get into that, let's say hi to who's here. Oh, Thesis and Fox here in the chat, and our own Cindy Kep is saying greetings and salutations. Greetings and salutations. I hope you all are enjoying spooky season just as much as I am. My voice is actually quite a bit rough because I've spent 3 hours today prowling the streets of Fowler, Indiana, along with my erstwhile assistant Lydia, terrorizing and raising the general blood sugar of the region several notches. So a great time was had by all, in part in response to the people who saw today's episode of Nevermind the Furthermore, in which Lydia slightly failed to do her job and had to be scolded, and now there's #justice for Lydia, because I just can't win. But we've got stuff to talk about. And ironically, our friend Cindy Kep proposed this question. And the question, I hope you guys like my happy little jack-o'-lantern. The question was, let's have a request to have a conversation about weapons concealment in your Halloween costumes. Interestingly enough, greetings and salutations was going to be my sign-on for my YouTube channels. It's a great sign-on. It's clear, it's concise, it's a whole lot better. I flounder through my sign-ins and sign-offs. I need to get better about that. That's part of my 2023 plan to improve as a professional broadcaster. But yes, she was asking about weapons concealment in costumes. And it's really interesting because we have to break this down. I have a sneeze that's rattling, so if I suddenly mute my the sneeze and the yawn slammed into each other in the middle of my face. Anyhow, the weapons concealment in Halloween costumes. Now you have 3 ways of concealing quote-unquote weapons in Halloween costumes. First one is very simply conceal weapons in your Halloween costume. By that, technically this counts as a weapon, even though I don't think of it this way. This is my neck knife. It goes everywhere with me. It's concealed in my Halloween costume. Getting it back out takes a couple extra steps that I normally wouldn't like, but it's there. The simplest way is to take any method you would use to conceal actual weaponry in such a way that it can't be easily accessed by somebody who doesn't know it's there, or recognizes it's there. And I am sorry for the yawns. Like I said, I am a very, very tired man. But this is going to be your wrist straps, your pockets, ankle rigs for certain devices, inside shirt pockets, anywhere you would holsters of some sort carry a weapon. Now, that is one method to simply have weapons on you in a concealed state. Many people who have actual concealed carry licenses are still packing on a holiday like Halloween. The problem with that is, one, it's a little dicey. Legalities can still be problematic, and two, Halloween is the land of jump scares. Oh, I'm so sorry. So you have to be prepped in case to not manifest that reflex. It's why I have mixed vibes about Halloween, because it's the one time a year where it's great for practicing being scared. It's great for children to learn how to be scared in non-life threatening situations, so you get used to how it feels. I think it's a vital growing tool that our society greatly lacks, because there aren't many times where it's socially acceptable or likely that you're scared. Now, Thesis kicks in with, I have a leather sword frog that I used to carry my black plastic gin at the Ren Fair. It's interesting you say that, because, one moment, it's actually under me. This is the belt. Give me just a second. I have to pick some stuff up because I had to get out of my gear and I was very, very sleepy. I had a little blood sugar. I'm still here. We got a couple options here, and I like having options. So, this, you guys recognize this. This is the Wolf Sword polypropylene trainer. Sturdy enough for fighting. That means it would be more than sturdy enough for a non-steel on steel defense. And frankly, I still could do a lot if they had just a regular knife, and I had this. So this just went into my little Garby belt in a very simple frog. Now, this fits rather snugly because this frog wasn't made for it, which helped because I had little teenagers wanting to get a hold of it. But this looks nice. It also has the added benefit of, should the police say, what is that? And you just go, well, it's a plastic sword. It's sturdy. I got it on Amazon. I have not lied. That is not a lie. It borders on a lie of omission, but it's still a very viable training weapon. It's very viable. I mean, it's something you could poke and smack somebody with. That's fine. So what we have is the opportunity to get rigs like this happy little frog. And let's talk about this frog for a second. Frogs are important. Frogs are the devices that let you connect weapons and sheaths to your belt. Now, or sash or barge. We've got a couple variants here. This is my hammer frog from work. That's why it's stretched out. I used to carry my short-handled sledgehammer on here because as I was working at Home Depot, it made sense for me to have a short-handled sledgehammer. And that worked. I can carry any number of weapons and tools on this. Give me just a second. Which it's kind of silly because this is the SOG. It's a tactical hawk, a quick hawk. I think it's a quick hawk. But this is literally a breaching tool. This is a brutal little tomahawk. Touch almost excessive, and the bounce is a little different. But this is a great tool, right? Now, this version comes with this lovely quick release Molly tactical, Molly compatible tactical sheath. This is sweet. I love this thing. This was given to me by our own Steve Clausen, one of my Patreon members, a friend, just a neat guy. But for my costume, I had my pirate rig, I had my horns going, and I had one of my. This is a slightly wormwood stick that I made a walking stick out of when I was in Wisconsin. It's got about 12, 14 feet of paracord wrap to give it a nice grip and a little hangy carabiner. This is not a weight-bearing carabiner, but it is sufficient for the vast majority of my applications. And normally, at night, this carabiner gets used because I will hang a lantern from it so that I can walk, have one arm supporting a lantern and still have an arm free. This allows me to maintain a little bit more tactical capability. But for the point of this, Lydia was actually clipped and hanging by her chains, hanging off my back, with my left arm cocked lightly so that the weight, all I had to do is use the weight of my arm to counterbalance the weight of Lydia and not have to strain my shoulder or anything. In the event that something immediately went wrong, I would have a stick, mind you, would have Lydia hanging off the side, but that I could completely define myself. This is probably what I would consider, well, this is another class. This is something that can be easily used as a weapon, but isn't readily identifiable as a weapon. So, as part of concealment, we have something that, like a trainer, which is a sturdy, non-weaponized version of a weapon. It is concealed in that it is worn in plain sight, but it's obviously not steel. So if a police officer asks to see it, I can go, okay, it's just plastic. Can I pull it? Okay, I don't want to upset anybody. Carefully pull it. Hand it to them. It's not sharp. I mean, the end's pointy. They'll go, okay, it's just a toy. Basically, it's a sturdy toy, but it's a toy. But I dropped my phone. But this is one kind. So any trainer you have that is sufficiently sturdy enough for concussive training, that being your Purple Heart trainers, your poly trainers, something like this. This is another. It's a great trainer. If I had a costume that called for a kukri, maybe I'm going as June from Halo, so I might be wearing a Halo body armor, Spartan Mark IV with a modified helmet, and strapped on the outside is this. Again, it's plastic. This is not a weapon, but it's sturdy. Some conventions would allow something like this, some would not. So you really need to check when. Yeah. I'm sorry. I've missed a couple comments and I realize it's kind of funny. So let's see. Cindy Kemp reminds folks that simple swords, fighting axes, and simple spears can all be bought at my Amazon site. That's amazon.com/Nicholas Anthony Cocker. The fourth in the series, which is going to be a streamlined book on rapier, is coming. I do hope that to be one of the 3 volumes I get out by the end of this year. And tune in at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for the Historical Fencing Guild live stream, which you're watching right now. If you want to watch it live on this channel, youtube.com, and that's the original link, you can just say youtube.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. Actually, just Historical Fencing Guild. The league is not there. Chaining up your assistant? Kinky. Well, okay. She lives right there because her job as an assistant is to keep Xander out of here. And now I've messed my camera angle up again. Whoop. Oh, there we are. Yes, my study's still a mess. Yes, it is still in the works. But now we're talking about this. Now, I can wear this easily and not have a problem. This is another way to conceal or carry a weapon during your costume for Halloween, depending on how unsafe you are. Another approach you see we have to talk about would be I could strap this bad boy on any number of costumes. I could go for a backstrap. I wouldn't. Good God, who do you think I am, Shad? Uh, rig a holster. There are ways for me to wear something like this. However, this is a live steel bush sword. This is a Priscilla bush sword by Shad. I get to find out what this can do very soon. And at a distance, the black might make somebody think it's a toy on Halloween. I do not condone the carrying of live weaponry on Halloween because people get stupid. Now, at least not anything as overt as this, because retention is much more challenging. You end up with lots of kids around. Kids touch much more on Halloween because they're taught that, nothing is as it seems, so it's safe. Going back, that's why I would really recommend chop a cantaloupe with that. I think a pumpkin may. Okay. Those of you who know, people like the chattest of shads, the grimmest of skulls, they usually or have in the past got involved with the Great Pumpkin Invasion, which every year, somewhere between now and Thanksgiving, millions have to deal with the surge of pumpkins. The gourds rise up in fury, and their numbers just have to be cold. It's tragic. It's horrific. And I have never on my channels done a live steel cut of any kind. So I may, depending on how things go, participate this year in holding up, my end of the pumpkin invasion and dismember a pumpkin or something. Yes. Speaking of trainers, does Purple Heart have a Deerhorn knife trainer? Yes, it does. Give me just a moment. Purple Heart, and I've seen a couple polypropylene ones. PHA. With the question, click equals 1745. Hello, that's me. And we're going to use this. Guys, please use this link. I'm putting it in the comments. Boom. It's either that link or link, paste. It might be and. I always flip these up. But if you purchase something from Purple Heart, please go through that link at least to get there, because there's a lot of pull through. They see that you guys go through, but I've yet to get kickbacks from anything you guys have bought. And I know you guys have bought Purple Heart stuff. And it doesn't cost you anymore. But I believe they're called Deerhorn. Yes, they are. So give me just a second to rearrange my my screen and setup. Move tab to new window. Move view. Bam. There. Move you here. And present. Share screen. We're almost there, folks. Chrome tab, I believe, is how it goes. Share. There we go. And just because we're having a little bit of visual issues, I'm going to put my spooky overlay away just to make it easier. I can bring that back pretty easy. But a Deerhorn knife trainer made of the classic black material that you find, the black ultra high density polypropylene with the standard cord wrap for $26.95 a piece. So if you want to have two of them, you need to keep that in mind price wise, because it is a traditionally two end weapon style, and it is geared to be big enough. You'll note he's wearing uh, the heavy leather gloves, so some of the bigger gloves may be a little tight in there. Keep that in mind. But Deerhorn knives are wonderful basic things, especially if you have to arm a boxer style, somebody who's got some strike in them. A Deerhorn knife really will instantly uh, allow most of your basic attacks to work very nicely, and with a little adaptation can be quite formidable. And this is a device that definitely, as a trainer, could be quite formidable. So I hope that answers your question. Let me check the comments to make sure I didn't lose any. A couple of years ago, I saw one on eBay, but I doubt it isn't there. Yeah, so let's see if this works. Copy. Paste. I want to look at something. Oh, no, not plus. I think you may want to check that link, but I think that link will get you there and get me the traction immediately. It's one of those I've had a problem since I got it set up as a oh god, not sponsorship. You know what I mean. They have great stuff. Please consider using their materials. So plus it's made in America, and I'm a big fan of that. And all that doesn't need to be on. And oh yes, off in the woods. Hi, great seeing you, Ron. Those are the Koenig longsword. Yep, the Koenig longsword gloves. So anything short of clamshell heavy longsword gloves should be fine. Excellent, and you do want good hand protection because that's a very extended swipey style. But I hope that works. Now, oh, Foxy's looking to train with them. I could see her really liking that. Actually, that makes a staggering lot of sense. I think they called them deer horn knives instead of antler knives. It's a weird translation thing. So, the real trick to dealing with concealed uh, weapons for something like Halloween is not first how do you conceal the weapon, it's how do you integrate the weapon that you want to carry into your costume. So, I mean, if you go and you get together some kind of either samurai, ninja, or demon hunter related costume, that means there's very little stopping you from getting a nice polypropylene Boken style trainer. In the saya, you could paint the saya up and make it pretty, throw that on your belt, and you've got something you could dissuade a lot of stupid with. My dear horn sells itself. Welcome back, Johnny Cage. We have found that swords just don't work for her, so we're looking at other options. You know, if there's anything I can do to help and break into that, we will definitely get into that, because there's a litany of weaponry we can point somebody's way, both of varying expense and size and style. So, going back to the original question, I've been known to go as Harry Dresden because, oh no, you either have a big honking walking stick or you're carrying a hockey stick. Both of these, while not weapons, are weapons, but there's a good reason for it. It matches. If you're going to go as a Grim Reaper, there's no reason your scythe couldn't be something like one of my scythes, where it's a stout chunk of PVC with, a homemade blade. That's going to be a lot sturdier than that little whippy plastic thing that you would buy at, say, Spirit Halloween. You want the fine line, because my job is not just to teach you guys how to keep yourself safe. Now, we could do a whole thing on, making straps and putting the whole, get where you can do your knife draws, integrating armor into your clothing, things like that. And armor, remember, actual armor is a weapon, okay? If you have actual armor, steel gaunts, or aluminum even, vambraces, chest plates, all that stuff, you are weaponized, because all those do would take anything you would strike with open-handed, right? And you've wrapped it in metal. That's formidable. So you can always go as a knight or as a character out of something specific, and you can easily keep that weaponized. Another thing is just throwing a bottle of pepper spray, or wearing a little pouch of pepper spray. Not a bad idea. It's not the perfect weapon, but it's not bad, especially for the kind of stuff for Halloween. Because what you don't want to do is wear something like, okay, if somebody attacks me on Halloween or is being dumb, you get the mugger / idiot mentality, and I pull out my bush sword and I lop off a large portion of whatever comes my way. Or helmet, yes. Seeing how you talk about blades, I was wondering if you hold a pencil like a sword while drawing. That's a great question. I can talk about that, because that is getting more into understanding the multiple classes of improvised weaponry, which is another good thing to keep in mind. If I use something like this to defend myself, I have neutralized that threat, but now I have to deal with the police. And whenever there's a conflict, I will give you this one for free. You want to be the first person to call the police, because the police believe the first person that calls them. Bow fades is a great weapon. The saga bow fades, say John. Yeah. A shillelagh is good. Dress like a leprechaun and a good beaten stick. Jack the Ripper, and carry an ornate fake knife. I'll talk about the drawing thing. That way, the weapon you're carrying, but you're walking with a very nice, even if it's just a dowel rod, you put cane ends. Yeah, Thesis, I had a Bullfed's nuts. Okay, yes, I knew you were going there. Didn't we all? Yes, today's been a day too. Not a bad day, but a lengthy one. All right. So, getting back to this, and I am not a legal person, so you always want to check the laws in your area. Those trump everything, because, like I'm saying, you don't want anything that looks like premeditation if things go hinky, and anything that in itself is a crime, because there are many places where a knife like this is illegal. I don't know where it is offhand now, but my little switchblade is a felony in any number of places. And it's ridiculous and it's unconstitutional, but it's something that we have to deal with. So, again, getting back to what do you do? Okay. Having an axe trainer and you're being a lumberjack or a pirate or something that, a troll of some sort. That's one of the nice things about the heavy polypropylene trainers. They don't look like weapons. They look like costume pieces. They are sturdy, but you can do a lot more than you could probably with your bare hands with them. So that's a big deal. And guys, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. What would I do for a Klondike bar? That is a dangerous question because I know the Klondike company scrolls the interwebs for people that they want to get to say stuff. So I'm not real sure. I have been known to be pretty mercenary for desserts. Oh, okay. But so pick a costume that allows you to integrate weapons. Pick a costume that even if you're wearing a mask, you have superior visibility, have light sources. I don't go out anywhere near Halloween without a light source, without fire, without a knife, and without usually a walking stick of some sort. Either my cane or a walking stick like this, or my big walking stick, depending on mood. And make it something you know. So for Cindy, all she'd have to do is wear very loose, quasi kung fu looking clothing or make a Chinese style outfit. She's got her fan, a steel fan. It's going to look good. It's going to be believable. She had it for the contest, There's good reason for it to be there. You don't want something that's going to create more issue. Pirates let you carry all sorts of weaponry. Avoid live steel firearms or things that look like firearms around the 4th of July, if at all possible. 4th of July. God bless America. No, around Halloween, because projectiles are problematic in close-in situations. And most Halloween situations aren't firearm based. You're not going to deal with a lot of that. Although to this day, my absolute prank video of all time is the magician who made a scary clown appear in a walkway tunnel late at night in front of a guy, and they're all doing the lean in and walk up, and the dude just step back, pulls his Glock, and goes back off. It's like, dude, it's just a prank. It's just a prank. See, you're on camera. And the dude's like, prank? Just grow up, man. Just grow up. And he walks away. And see, the problem, yep, my Katara costume plus fan. Exactly. Now you have something that you can easily defend yourself with, especially closed fan is just short club. You could do a lot of the attacks with a sap or a short club. Basically, this without the axe head, and you are remarkably formidable. Walk softly, carry a big fire pan. If I ever get around to it, I would love to integrate my Han bow scabbard into my costume. Probably wouldn't string the bow or bring arrows. I would not. That's something you might want to do for something like a Ren Fair, maybe. Certainly if you have a chance to actually fire it. But for an open Halloween type situation, like you're around trick-or-treaters or whatever, you have to remember you're dealing with teenagers and young teens. And there's a special breed of problematic that can emerge in that time. That's why I could have easily been a pirate and thrown my favorite sword in the world on. However, it would be problematic if, the police saw me and said, that looks like a live sword, because it is. Have I done that? Yes. Was it wise? No. Sometimes I try to help you guys not make the same kind of mistakes I've made in the past. Be a chef, walk softly, carry a big frying pan. that's something. But remember, the other thing with Halloween props is you have to carry this thing all night. So you want something. That's why I love a walking stick. A walking stick, if you have one you can hang a lantern off of, now you have light, you have a stick. When you're tired, it makes the walk easier. If you need to reach something, uh, adjust something, sticks are vitally useful. So I'm really big proponent of be a wizard, be a cultist, be a wanderer. Wear a prop sword that's crud, but your stick is stout. Because you don't want to create issues and you want to solve more problems at the same time without tiring yourself out, preparing for a likelihood that, frankly, is highly unlikely. I do like this. Or if you're a fairy, have a wand made from pig iron, or just solid dowel rod. Just get a chunk of quarter-inch or half-inch dowel rod or a drumstick, and hit it with some glitter glue for criminy sake. Then you could just tonk tonk if you need to. We tend to overthink a lot. Pool cue comes to mind. And a lot of it is how you have attached. Now, this is probably one of the most basic designs for a frog you're going to find. It's got about a 45 degree. Okay. And this is 4 rivets. 3 of them are just the cheapos, and 1 is actual copper rivet. And this was literally just a scrap piece of fake leather that I had. So what you want is a kind of almost like a kid drawing a boot shape, because the rectangle here rolls out and rolls up. This angled rectangle rolls down to the back. The tricky part is riveting this, because if you do it flat, you lose a lot of material and a lot of space. What I did is I put metal bar stock. I think I may have actually used just black pipe. A piece in there. There we are. Wrap it up and then do the riveting from the outside. And then this one I had more room, so I could do this one as a flat because that would give me better alignment for a narrow belt. Measure everything ahead of time, because I literally made this and realized it didn't fit too well. But it works well for a few of my other applications. I can do a slightly more detailed pattern for like my Patreon members if that's something you guys are interested in. And never had any complaints about the stoutness of my stick. Ayo! But other good things you can have. Get yourself a honkin' flashlight. And they have big, honking, rechargeable flashlights that you're not going to use this, okay? You hang it off your belt or whatever. It doesn't have to match, because, yeah, that's my flashlight for, if it gets dark. But if you've got a few 100,000 candle watt power, blong, and it happens to be an aluminum rod this long, you have yourself a deterrent and a number of problem solvers all in a package that you can justify carrying. The old Maglite claws. Police and SCA heavy fighters, and I'm not going to go farther. This is a Maglite. Hit the button. Bing! And you have the whole 8 D cells of beatdown baton, and you have a reason to carry it on your belt. It's cocked here so you can aim it, flash it, and bonk. If you dress like a cop, don't look like you're really a cop. Don't have any costume that will get you in trouble, because you don't want to be busted for impersonating something. It's a fine line between fun and realism. And that's one thing, this is part of the defense and part of the logic to arming yourself during a Halloween outing. Now, that is very different than arming yourself during Halloween. Yeah, go. got one of those flashlights, it's true. And yeah, and wearing no costume may get you in trouble. And a lot of that depends on what are you planning to never pass up. Never pass up a good opportunity for good stick stroke. No, never, never, never. A lot of what you want to do is gray man, which is the theory of how do you blend in with everybody. Now, me saying that because I wear very bright clothing, I walk with a cane. I am strange places at strange times where I tend to stand out. I would make a horrible gray man until suddenly I need to, and then it's I get a haircut, maybe I shave, maybe I switch to neutral colors. I own them, and I adjust to blend in. I don't have to, and because I do need to walk with a mobility aid, I'm already noted by the predators. Predators already see me. Because seeing me walk with a limp or walk with a cane tells predators that's a potential target. So, since I'm noticed, I double down and I make sure everybody notices me. And then I have watched the neck knife deter things. I've watched people see the neck knife around my neck and go, not that one. And that's all you want. I don't know if this is answering your question, Cindy. If it's not, please let me know. But Edgelord wardrobe goes blood. And yeah, I mean, it's Halloween. If you want to dress all edgy, but don't do it in a way where the costume can be used against you. That's another good point. Let's talk about this. Halloween, yeah, I want to dress up, yeah. We talked about concealed weapons for safety. Usual logic applies. But what we didn't talk about is the costume itself. Think about what you're doing and what you're attempting to do. The venue you're at, the place you have to go from where you're parked to a venue if you're doing like a party or something. You know, are you going to be surrounded by the normies? You may want a costume you can kind of deploy. Oh, okay. You meant mocking up safe weapons that still look good. Well, in that case, you could easily take a trainer, hit it with put a little bit of what I would do is put masking tape over the rigs, so over the riggings on this. Get the oh god, who makes it? I can see the stuff because it's primer and spray coat in the same coat, and it bonds to plastic, and it's listed on there. I want to say Krylon, but I'm not 100% sure. And just put this down on some cardboard outside. Haha! I saved Sir Pennington, but my stylus is now away. Hold on. There we go. So that will make it look good. Another thing you really want to think about is if you have time before Halloween, your advanced levels of boffer, the plastidip techniques, can yield amazing results. If you don't have time, you can find plastidip swords at several quality retailers that are fully functional for light LARP use and will look good. All I buy are black dress shirts. Well, of course, Johnny, you're a vampire. The black hides the blood. But I mean, if you mean regular aesthetic, you've got it hard because I've actually seen Johnny's face, and Johnny is a remarkably attractive man. I'm totally comfortable saying this. He has a very pretty face, and he's got muscles and stuff. It's really not fair. Whereas I am basically a short, fat, furry little man. So I doubled down on it. But mocking up safe weapons that still look good. Little outlay, but if you can get a hot wire cutter, which is a hot wire which is used to cut foam and plastic, then you get a pool noodle, put some PVC, set it up just like a round boffer, and you can shape the edges however you want by just cutting it down with this stuff. Just do it outside because the fumes can be a little rough. And then you hit it with Plastidip. Oh yes, metal painter's tape, high quality metallic paint. A lot of it depends on how much time and money you have to put towards it. Wood is a wonderful resource in that you can usually get it cheap, and if you know your way around tools, you can make it nice. If you don't have much time but you have the money to have power tools are great. If you have time but not money, hand tools and scavenged weaponry can make a really good scavenged weaponry. Scavenged wood can make really good wooden trainers or weapons in whatever shape you want. Again, PVC is still relatively cheap, and then you get camp pad. For anything that's basically flat, you use a substance called wood weld. It's a type of glue. It smells horrible. And you shape it around the blade of your weapon around that. Again, if you have either a box cutter knife and some patience, or a hot knife and you carefully cut the foam away, then you use Plastidip, which can come in a spray paint. Light coats, prime it, light coats, doom, 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 doom. You can paint right over it. You can get some really nice effects depending on how safe you want it to be. A lot of times it's in a hurry, so there you go. This is a terrible example, but it's what I have within reach. This is my bootleg scythe. Well, not bootleg, but it was made as a light boffer trainer for a project. Okay. If I wanted to be death, an oversized black hoodie, and this would work. As is, it doesn't look impressive at all. It is wood weld. I think it's wood welded. It might not be. It may just be stacked. Closed cell foam wrapped around the PVC, end caps on both sides. Glued on, I believe. But if I wanted to make this look better, what I would do is first I'd hit it with some black, probably hit the whole thing with black, primer. Hit the whole thing with primer and or black Plastidip. Black spray paint for the handles that merges. Black Plastidip here. Now getting a clean line is hard, but if you took the foil insulation glass tape, the kind of chrome looking foil tape, and run it just along the edge with the black here, from the kind of distance most people have, it will look surprisingly good. A halberd. Let's see. I'm sorry. Has some tips. Use metal painter's tape or some high quality metallic paint. Do you happen to have a halberd nearby? Let's see. I've got a lifesteal Naginata quasi glaive. I have a reinforced staff that I've been making for a friend who died. I have a Odachi. I moved a lot of my tools down, a lot of my trainers downstairs as part of my working on my study. Several. Remember these guys I was talking about that I wouldn't recommend buying unless it's absolutely your jam? These are great for Halloween because they overtly look like junk, but they're quite sturdy if you know what you're doing. And if you get something like this, it's already has the castings. It's already molded into some nifty shapes. So hit this with primer and just get acrylic paints. You can get some chrome-like stuff and put it up for the edge line. Even a gold Sharpie for the accents will make this look really good, really fast. And this is nice and scary looking, but again, this is solid polypropylene where you could, if you elected to, do some real damage defending yourself from that angle. Or you could you have something like this, you cut out and you want to be really, really safe. You get foam. Again, like the camp pants, they sell them for rolled up at Walmart. You want to go for the thicker closed cell than the thinner yoga mats because they usually have some rumbles. Nice and scary. Everyone's missing. Everyone's missing what? Oh, well, this is a big holiday weekend, so I'm not surprised that people aren't necessarily here. And this show doesn't get the same kind of numbers as the Nevermind the Furthermores. But we're working on that. And it'll be made better by folks liking and sharing this. So please share this both on Facebook and Twitter or Rumble or whatever the new medias you use to get this stuff around because we need people to see it. And I realized something. I think, yes, the bottle is empty. I don't remember. Oh, orange. Why would I have orange paint? This is the stuff. Rust-Oleum, Ultra Cover, Paint and Primer, bonds to plastic. Also bonds to plastic. This kind of stuff is what I recommend. Now, I go through the orange because I spray paint weapons this stuff to have the opposite effect of making them look less threatening. This is the one time a year where people want to make their trainers look more threatening. So it runs counter to how I usually advise people. Oh, yeah. Just 1 second here. So, are you painting cantaloupes orange to save on pumpkins? No, I've spray painted several of my trainers orange so that they show up on camera, and so that when I'm doing drills with them and I'm working the gear, looks less problematic for when the police drive by. Because on occasion, police drive by. And if you're sword fighting, it's like the Nerf gun conundrum. You never want a Nerf gun that really, really, really looks like a gun because people get antsy. And you want to make sure there's a lot of orange and bold colors and it's obviously a Nerf gun because it's not worth dying over. Halloween or theatrical works or movies are the only times where the rules invert for me. But no, I have several pumpkins that may be sacrificed to the greater good of what we do here. And we'll just see how that goes. But basically, you can take it. I have told really easy. I've mentioned many times, if you want to make trainers yourself, simply buy polypropylene cutting boards that you can get them in many sizes. Some quite large. They're HDPE, polyethylene, I think. HDPE, high density polyethylene. Yes, HDPE. Big. You can get them in little sheets, big sheets. Trace out the weapon you want and take either an old-fashioned hacksaw or use a jigsaw and just and cut it out, file it off, and then paint it. That gives you a reasonably safe trainer that's sturdy enough to actually train with, that you could paint for Halloween pretty, and then after Halloween's done, if you're not going to use it, just hit it with orange and you're back in business. I would rather carry a weapon that doesn't look as good on Halloween, but won't get me shot by the police for having it. So that's part of it. I think I need to do some crafting videos, which I think I'm basically formatted now, where I might be able to, with some tweaking, just do some simple crafting videos and actually talk you through some of this stuff. But that's where I would go for the kind of gear you carry for Halloween. Now, this is very different than dealing with actual issues on Halloween. You know, hang on for just a second. Where did I? Yes, there we go. Let those down. Getting the spirit gum I have to wear over these things is always such a pain. But let me see now. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Well, I can't do that way. Anyhow, the trick is to always have something that goes counter to how you normally look, but fits in the theme of the season, that no one's going to mistake as an actual dangerous item. Now, had I actually very rigid horns that I were wearing, I could probably strike someone or just rip them off and bludgeon someone with them, but that would be excessive. And we don't want to be excessive, because if I wore those, they would be very heavy all day. Just, people get the wrong idea. So we don't want that. We want your gear to be comfortable. Now, the nice thing about something like that, I'm sorry, Johnny Cage's comment just isn't coming up. What? No. Oh, sorry. I'll try it again. And no, it just keeps auto closing. Weird. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm certainly not interrupting. Anyhow, one must maintain dignity in their office. Yes. But oh, my camera's being a little wonky there. Yeah, see, no cryptid at all. Nor just your plain everyday neighborhood swordmaster. But and yeah, a clown is a best costume. They can hold all sorts of wacky items that can bludgeon. That's a good thought. The trick is, don't be a scary clown. If you're going to do that, be a normal, happy-looking clown and just have an oversized something that you can bludgeon. I saw somebody had Fortnite weaponry, and one was a giant spatula, and I thought, oh, that'd be brilliant. Make one of those out of plywood. My wife has her war spoon. It's a 4-foot-long cherry wood hand-carved spoon. The head about this big around, and the handle's about that diameter. Again, it's about 4 feet long. I know, because I made it. It was 20-year-old aged cherry wood. We broke 3 saw blades cutting that out, her father and I. She can throw that thing through a frog, put it on something like this, And it looks like she's being, oh, look, I'm just a cook or going Baba Yaga. But she could beat the mortal stuffings out of somebody. Now, what is this? Yes, this a bear in its natural habitat, a Studebaker. But that's the trick with Halloween. It's balancing the spook and safety, and sometimes it's a yes, wooden spoon, the traditional weapon of Italian grandmothers everywhere. My mother, who is German and Great British and a few other things, was the mistress of the applied wooden spoon, to the point where after years of getting in trouble and the boys hiding them, when they moved houses, they found stashes of wooden spoons that had been hidden. But guys, be safe this Halloween. All right. Now, I will be doing a special for Nevermind the Furthermore, because it will be Halloween Monday. But between then and now, I hope to get time to shoot some footage involving the great pumpkin tobaccos. And maybe some other shenanigans. I don't know. This is stuff I've never tried. I'll be doing some stress testing of some gear I own. It could be fun. It could be cataclysmic, but we'll see how that goes. Beyond that, guys, we're at the hour line, and actually we're past it. So I'm going to say thank you. We've had a lovely conversation. I hope I answered Cindy's question. If you ever have questions for me, you can always put them in the commentary. You can also message me directly through Twitter. Yes, thanks for hosting the adventure. Thank you for asking the question that inspired the adventure. You can also, my Patreon members, basically, if Cindy said, I have this question on Patreon, I'm like, it's a show. The deal is done. You know, the pact is made. So, guys, outside of that, we're getting into the late fall, early winter, which is easier for me to do some of what I do. I'm getting some help on some cleanup and projects. Now, not this coming week, but the week after, I have a holiday. I will be going on a bit of a holiday. It should not interfere with this show, because I should be home by that one. And Nevermind the Furthermore may be broadcast from hotels. But yes, road trip. Basically, my wife and I have only had one. We've been married 20 years. The start of November, first week of November, and we went on one actual close to a vacation where we went for a few days up to Wisconsin with our friend Steve. Was kind enough to take us to a cabin his family used to own up there. It was a beautiful, wondrous adventure. But that's been it. We used to go to SCA events, and even those, we didn't make many big ones. And then we were just too poor. And I'm since no longer SCA. And we're going to go on a little adventure I'll tell you guys about when I get back. Whether it goes well or goes catastrophic, it is very on brand for us, and it's only a couple days. I, of course, have arrangements to take care of Stuart the Sword Cat and his buddy Dusty, and of course the chickens and everything else. But so I'm going to be kind of frantic the next couple days, but it shouldn't affect you guys. If it does, I apologize. I take my streaming as part of my job deadly serious, even though I'm rarely serious on any of my programs. We will just have to see. So, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart for a lovely evening. Now, go out. Oh, wait, what? You want to know how to support me? Well, if you want to support me, remember you can hit me up at, if you just want to give me money, paypal.me/Nicholas Tucker. I will take any donations that I can get. If you want to buy my books, let me move the pile of weapons I handled. You can get the first 3 in my ongoing series: the Simple Sword, the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear. I told you guys when I get my copy up, I would waggle it around. I'm waggling it around. Each one has a different author picture too, which I realize. So there's definitely a case of collect them all. A long time has passed since that one, but it's still good times. And the Big Stompy Robots books. Now, all that's through Amazon. Cindy put the links up. Let's see, we have a couple more comments. Make sure there's nothing else. Happy anniversary. Have fun.
I'm not going.
Don't forget to tip your host. And Cindy put the link up for my Amazon again. Thank you. I try to keep the commercials off this because one of the benefits of having patrons is I don't need to necessarily put ads here. My other show is about promoting people, so the ads are kind of necessary. But it makes it easier to keep things going. Now, I want you guys to do your drills. Keep your eyes open, especially around Halloween. Be kind to yourself and each other. And folks, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I will see you all very soon for another episode of the Historical Fencing Guild live stream.